Right, welcome to Wales. I don't know if we're in Wales. I didn't realise we're in Wales
We
yet.
are now. That sign said welcome to Wales.
Okay.
Maybe we're not now because we're going right,
round
not left.
That's a good point. Do you reckon we're getting another sign saying welcome back to England for 5 minutes?
Don't break it.
Right, this is really exciting today. We are heading towards Chepstow for reasons which we're very excited about.
You're in there when you're on a bike, you can't always see them coming towards you. You've got to be concentrating.
Monmouthshire, which is in Wales. So we are in Wales. So we've not come back out of Wales.
No.
Today's adventure starts here. It starts in that bike hire place because although we have brought our own bikes, stupidly we didn't bring our own helmet. So this already, wow, look ahead of us just down there. That is beautiful.
That looks amazing.
So welcome to the Wye Valley Greenway, which was opened just back in April this year. They did it all on the quiet because of COVID. They didn't want to have huge crowds. And yeah, we'll tell you the story as we head north towards Tintern. But for the meantime, on the bike.
I just want to tell you that no. Yeah.
Here we are, Rebecca, the Wye Valley Greenway.
I'm here.
Rebecca's here too, everyone. Hey. The Wye Valley Railway. You can work out why it's called the Wye Valley Railway. So it connected Monmouth all the way down the Wye Valley, weaving through the landscape all the way as the river meandered itself, and it had a few intermediate stations, never that busy, never that profitable. Had grand divisions, as you can imagine.
Right, can't help it.
Oh yeah, someone's on an electric bike today. Someone else isn't on an electric bike.
When I was down and out, along came you.
So one of the biggest issues, if you read the early newspaper reports of this tunnel, is how potentially dangerous it is. Now, that's not necessarily a general view, but there's a lot of reports and complaints. People saying how dark it is. Obviously that's for the bats, but people are saying you've got to be very careful because bikes come out of nowhere and such. You all right, Becca?
Yep, thank you.
A couple of 100 metres ahead is the 1,000-yard tunnel. We should tell you more about it either on the way through or when we get out the other side, because it's going to be very dark.
We've come all the way from Cheshire to go into this.
Really? You're winding me up, right? You have come from Cheshire?
And we're local. I've done it 7 times since the 1st of April.
Yep.
I've done it on my bike 5 times. I did have the light on once because I was a little bit frightened with my
Yeah.
bike. I shouldn't do because of the bats.
Oh,
I brought the
right.
grandchildren through and I think it's amazing.
And there's your friends?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talk to them very now and again, yeah.
We've come from Southampton.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, not far from us.
Southampton,
Yep.
so yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
So,
Yeah.
and it can get really busy. Like this is quiet today, it can be really busy. And the only thing when you're in there, when you're on a bike, you
Yep.
can't always see them coming towards you. You've got to be concentrating.
Yeah.
We've read a lot of those reports when people complaining online. And you
Yeah,
think,
but then I took my grandchild through with hers, and she was frightened initially going that way because
Yep.
the lights are on the other side. But on the way back, she was all up for it. I was
One
saying
of
countdown markers.
a little kid's going to step out in the dark and you can't see him.
Yeah.
And get run over.
Another thing, where I did it a month ago, you could see the River Wye down below.
Yep.
Now I've come last week, where it's all grown, you can't see the River Wye so much. You can see it, with the leaves.
Yep.
Different.
Fair
So
enough.
it's different in some places.
Yes.
Every time you come,
See something
Oh yeah.
nice.
I'm very excited. I'm
Wonderful.
glad I met you.
'Cause I love you, baby. No. Can't let you go. 'Cause I love you. Yeah. There was a time.
Right, so some of the concerns raised by the folks we just saw are quite interesting. It's very dark. I'd say this is darker than Bath 2 tunnels. But there we go. That's what they needed to do in order to get the BAT licence in order to open this tunnel. So we shall abide by their rules. And we'll meet you at the other end. How was that for you? How was that for you, Rebecca?
It was okay.
It was okay, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad. I was expecting it to be darker.
I expected from the reports. I expected it to be darker too.
What was a bit disconcerting was because it was dark, the ceiling felt like it was really low because all the lights obviously were facing downwards, and the ceiling I kept feeling like I needed to duck because the darkness felt like it was the ceiling. It's very weird.
But there's so much in there, so much to see. If you're walking and you've got a bit of time, there's all the parts. There's so many sort of recesses, but that's obviously how they built the wall against the rock face. But then there's a lot of it where it's complete brick, so where they didn't trust the limestone. But it's built under 700 feet of limestone mountain, as it were, isn't it? We're going to head on now down to Tintern to the next tunnel, which I don't think is open. Whether they plan to open it one day, that would be quite good. But Tintern Tunnel next. You can see by the crazy people we've just met back there, what lovely people. And this is what we like doing when we come out on our little adventures, you know. And this is what this does. This is what the project that these people undertook in making this a cycle route and a greenway, a shared walking and cycle route, is it brings people together. So they started building this line, or the tunnel, in 1874. And it took them 2 years, or 18 months to 2 years to build it, which is very quick for a 1,000-yard tunnel. So one of the little rules of thumb that we abide to is if we're going across a abandoned railway and you see a massive embankment that you're going across, somewhere along the line there's probably going to be a culvert underneath it, or bridge to let the water through. So I just thought, you know what, we just crossed this huge embankment here. Let's have a look down the valley and see if we can see any way that they got the water underneath it. So yeah, right ahead of us, the perseverance of doing this is paid off. Looks like a really cool tunnel down there. Wow. So in all the culverts that I've seen, all the culverts that I expected to see, I wasn't expecting to see something quite like this. It's huge. It's really huge. I mean, it's 3.5, 4 meters wide. It's probably, I don't know, 4 meters high. It's brick lined all the way across the top, and it's masonry all the way along the side. And what's better is if you look at the flooring, it's masonry floored as well. So in 1876 the line opened to a train coming up from Chepstow on the 12:30 up to Monmouth, and it passed through all the stations that were open by then. And of course thereafter I think a couple more halts opened up, including the one at the beginning of the tunnel, the other side of the Tintern or Den Hill tunnel, Netherhope Halt, which is right by the entrance to the tunnel. And there is a lady still alive today who lives up above it, and she remembers as a kid getting on the train. She remembers her mum seeing the steam engine come in the distance and shouting to her to get downstairs and get ready for the train. And apparently the train just waited for her if she was late, because they obviously knew who got on and off regularly. So we made it to Tintern Tunnel, shall we say, first of all. Now this is only about 300 yards long, very tight radius, and then comes out on the cliff edge, goes over what was a 3-span iron viaduct and came round into Tintern Station. What a beautiful railway that must have been. Very beautiful, come all the way down the Wye Valley and into Tintern, which I think there was like a few old coaches, because we did go there a couple of years ago, didn't we, Rebecca?
We did.
I'd love to say, it wouldn't take much to open that tunnel, but I guess what would be the point, because you can get down to Tintern on the pathway just there. If you're going to open that tunnel, you'd then have to, you know, open the viaduct the other side to get to Tintern Station. So whether that was on the cards or not, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be, but should we go and get coffee?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how well that come out on the camera, but yet another reason why this route along here is just something else. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely stunning. Apparently when the tunnel's closed you can actually still do this little trek bit. It takes 30 to 40 extra minutes because there are significant climbs. I wouldn't want to do that with my bike.
So this has been the Wye Valley Greenway, and it's beautiful. We've had the tunnel, we've had the beautiful pathway all the way down that valley there. Big testament to the volunteers that camped here, that virtually lived here and made
Work
this
camp they called it.
work camp, did they?
Yeah.
And made it into what it is today, which is wonderful because people like us can come along and just go, yay, this is great fun. But you know, really, when you think about the hard work involved with the volunteers, and of course the people that built the tunnels and the cuttings all those years ago, back in the 1870s, wonderful. We'll leave you in peace, and we shall see you next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Do all the good things that you normally do, like press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and yeah,
Notification bell and all that jazz.
etc. See you next week.